In this video, we're going to learn to hack into a website using SQL injection. First, a word of warning. It is illegal to hack into websites. This video is made for educational purposes only. Because the URLs are very long in this video, we're going to omit the first part of the URLs so that we can show a little bit bigger font. So all the way up to the PHP question mark. I'm not going to show that, but I'll show everything after the question mark. Start by navigating to a web page that accesses the SQL database. In this example, we found a page that accesses a web page for trees, and it says PHP question mark ID equals 4. So you'll have something similar after the question mark, a field name and then equals and then a value, or maybe more than one. But if you find a page that accesses a SQL database, you should have something like that in the URL. So first we want to find out how many columns are in this table of the database. We do that by going to the very end of the URL, the 4 in our case, and we're going to put a space and then order by 3. And then you should get a result back. So you erase the 3, you type over that in place of it a 4. And then try 5. And you keep increasing that number until you get back an error. And the first time you get an error back, that's one more than the number of columns in the database. So in our case, we got a result back for 11, but when we typed order by 12, we got an error. So we know there are 11 columns in our database. Now we're going to find out what version of SQL is running on this site. So what we're going to do is go to ID equals 4, and in place of the 4, we're going to type null, N-U-L-L, and then space, union, all select 1, 2, 3, etc. all the way up to 11 because we have 11 columns in this table, and then dash dash, and then we'll hit return. And what we'll get back is a few numbers on the screen only. So here we have a 3, a 2, and a small 10. We'll try the 3 first, since it's the first number. So in place of the 3 in our URL up above, we'll put 1, 2, at version with a capital V, 4, 5, etc. And then we'll click enter. We don't get the version number yet. So now we're going to try the 2. We'll put the 3 back in place. We'll move the at version in place of the 2, and we'll click enter. And now what we see back is a version number. 5.5.32 is the version number that is running of SQL that is running on this website. Next, we're going to find out the table names for this database. And we're going to do that by going to the space where the 2 was, and we put at version. Now we're going to put in place of that group underscore concat parenthesis table underscore name close parenthesis. And then after the 11, we're going to type from information underscore schema dot tables, where table underscore schema equals database open parenthesis close parenthesis dash dash. Now when you type that exactly like I have it here, what you'll get back is a short list of database names. In our case, there are table names. There are only 2 tables. There's the trees and the visit counter table. Now if you're lucky at this point and you're really trying to crack into the website, you might find a table of user information, something entitled, let's say, users or login, or something like that. If so, you might be honing in on that particular table to get more detailed information on the users and access, username and password. In this case, we don't really care about the visit counter, so we're going to go to the trees table. So our next step is we want to find out what are the column names or field names inside the tree table. So what we're going to do is we're going to change where the 2 is. We're going to change that to column name instead of table name. And then towards the end, we're going to say from information underscore schema dot columns instead of dot tables. And when that returns, you should get back a list of the column names separated by commas. And in our case here, we have, like I said, 11 columns. We can see some of them on the screen. Some of them run off the screen, but you can copy and paste this into a text document to read all of the column names. Now that we have the table name and all the column names, we can hone in on which tables and which columns we're interested in, and we can harvest all the data from this database. Now, like I said, if there's a user list with login and password, you might want to get those columns. You can hone right in on it, and then you would be able to log into that database. If, for example, there was an admin login and a password, you would be able to get those. In our example here, all we have is a trees database. So we're just going to take a look at the common name and the type, 2 of the fields from the table for these trees. Okay? So inside the parentheses of the concat, we're going to type common underscore name, comma, 0x3a, comma, type. Now, common name is one of the fields, one of the columns from our table, and type is another. So the output of this exercise is going to show the common name and the type separated by 0x3a, which is an ASCII code for a colon. So you can use a different separator if you want. We just chose to use 0x3a as a colon for the separator here. Okay, so common name, colon, type is what you're going to see in the output. And hit enter, and voila, you have the whole database of tree names and type. And like I said, if you are more interested in username or login or password, or basically just wanted to copy the entire database, you could have access to it in the same way. Now that was pretty easy, but there are also tools in Backtrack that make it even easier to crack into a website. So let's go into Backtrack and type cd/pentest/database/SQL map. Then type in this command, and this will give you a list of the databases that are available on this website. Next, type in this command. It will give you a list of tables that are available in the database that you selected. Then select one table and type in this command, and it will give you a list of the columns that are available. So with a few quick commands in Backtrack, we were able to get all of the database, table, and column information. The same data that we got through the web browser with a little more effort. Now you can take that data that you just got from Backtrack and use it in the web browser the same way we just did to get an output of the entire database or whatever chunks of it you want, whichever columns you like. So Backtrack makes the whole process of cracking into the website via SQL injection a little easier than it would be otherwise. So that concludes our demo on SQL injection. We thank you for watching.